Let's take a look at linear drumming. And if you take a look at the exercise that you have in your assignment, the exercise is made up of 2 columns of single bar patterns. And we're going to take a look at a couple of these. All of these patterns are based on 16th notes, and each beat is divided up into 16th notes. Some of the exercises feature all 16th notes. Some will combine 8th notes with 16th notes and displaced in different areas. The first one we're going to look at is in the second column at the top. So taking a look at that pattern, well, let me say one more thing about all the patterns on the page. The beats 2 and 4 are accented, and in this case, all of these patterns will have you accenting on the snare drum. So make sure that when you're playing the pattern, you want to give a good full stroke on the snare drum to accent. And really, when you're playing linear drumming patterns, you want to accent the right places at the right time. So accenting 2 and 4 on the snare really helps to shape the pattern so that it sounds more musical. So I'm going to look at this first pattern at the top of the second column, and every 16th note in the 1-bar pattern is played between the kick, snare, and hi-hat. So I'm just going to walk through it slowly, and what I see here is it begins on the hi-hat. So I'll see hat, snare, kick, kick, up to the snare on 2. So I'm just going to start real slow and just get a feel for playing up to beat 2. All right. So if I'm thinking 16th notes, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and all right. So I know that I am playing hat, snare, kick, kick, snare. Okay. So I'm just getting a feel for how that pattern works. Actually, I'll slow it down a little bit. 3 E and 4 E and all right. And again, 3 E and 4 E and all right. So what I'm really doing is developing the coordination so that the 2 kicks in a row is comfortable to my foot. The movement from left hand on hi-hat, in my case, to right hand on snare drum is a smooth transition that retains the space between each 16th note, trying to get it right in the pocket, and then landing on 2. So I'll do that again. 3 E and 4 E and just like that. So now I'll continue with the pattern, all right? And let's see if I can go ahead and play up to 2 and then 4, right? So now I'm going to play up to the snare playing on 2 and 4. That's really like my landing point. So 3 E and 4 E and all right? So I have in the middle of that, right, on the of 2 and then 3 E, I actually have 3 16th notes on the kick drum in a row. So I want to make note of that. All right, so let's try it again. 3 E and 4 E and there we go. All right. Go ahead and play out the full pattern. 3 E and 4 E and all right, so there's the full pattern. Now what I want to do is repeat the pattern so that I also get that transition from the last 4 notes of beat 4 going right into the first notes of beat 1. So I'm going to play the full measure and then repeat it. 3 E and 4 E and have that transition. One strategy that you can use when you're practicing these patterns is start at different places. So I can start on beat 4 and just go up to beat 2, right? So I go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Okay? So you can find different places to really help yourself get comfortable. Now another thing is you can slow this down as much as you need to just get comfortable with the pattern. You can set your metronome to a slow beat per minute and subdivide it so you hear all the 16th notes. You can also you can use after that, right? Looking further ahead, when you get comfortable with the pattern, you can set the metronome to where it only clicks on beats 2 and 4 to really help give you a feel for those landing points, right? The 2 and the 4 just really drives funk, popular music, rock music really well. So all that to say, what I want to start doing now, before I even start speeding up and getting it into a more comfortable groove, I want to pay attention to the dynamics, all right? And the dynamics means that at certain points, I'm going to accent certain notes a little bit more than other notes. So some are more subtle so that the groove is understood, and others are more, well, they're all articulated, but some are more emphasized, right? So beat 1 starts on the hi-hat. I don't really need a lot of, I don't need a strong hi-hat. I just need something that's, you know, it's solid, but it's just kind of there, you know. And then going into that first snare drum on the E of 1, it's just going to be a ghost note, really, because I want to set up for a good solid 2. So if I go 3 E and a 4 E and a, right? So I'm just playing lightly on the first 2 notes, the first 2 16 notes. And even with my hand motion, right, I'm playing 1 E and 2. So I'm already starting to set up and maybe even get some whipping motion to set up for 2. So it's really going from a tap stroke to a full stroke. Just like that. So now the dynamics is really moving the music toward beat 2, right? So let me continue from there and show you what else happens where I can take advantage of this shaping the music where I want to accent. So if I go from 1, beat 1, ready, go. All right, so notice that I went hat, snare, kick, kick, snare, hat, hat. Now on the hat, I have I have the E and the and on the hi-hat. I'm naturally doing this where the first hit is a little bit softer than the second hit, right? It feels like that's the right way to articulate what I'm doing on the hi-hat at that point, because it's moving it forward, right? So maybe I shouldn't take too many words to explain it. Let's just listen to it, right? Ready, and right? So every time I see those groupings of 2 hits on the hi-hat in a row, I'm gonna accent the second one a little bit more, okay? So now I have anything on the snare that is 2 and 4 is a full stroke. Anything on the snare that is not 2 and 4, it's more of a ghost note or a tap, right? Full stroke, tap. Hi-hat, anytime that I have 2 16ths in a row, I'm gonna just give a little bit more of an accent on the second one, all right? So going slow, full pattern now with dynamics and shaping it out. 3 E and a 4 E and a. now, do that a few times, really get comfortable with it. Get the tempo a little bit more into the medium range. 2, ready, and. Again, get really comfortable with it. And anytime you feel, your heart's racing, you get anxious about it, just slow it down, right? Right, so even there, slowing it down, I hear like, maybe I could work on my kick drum a little bit also, where I say, those 3 kicks in a row, those 3/16ths in a row, right? Maybe I want to really get a 4E, right? Or that would be a 3E, right? So I can really work to get that foot control there as well, okay? And then a little bit more up tempo. 2, ready, and. All right, let me try that again. 3, 2, ready, and. So at that tempo, I can already feel like I need to work more on my kick drum technique, right? And that's fine. Slow it back down and work on that. All right, I'm gonna do one more. So if I go down to the 4th one down in the 2nd column, I just wanna quickly demonstrate. Now, applying all of the strategies that I already explained in the top one, I can then move forward to this pattern. And the reason I want to look at it is because it combines 8th notes with 16th notes. So I want to make sure that I'm counting this correctly. Starts with the 8th note on the kick, and then 2 16th notes follow. 1 and a. So the E is not articulated. That is within that first 8th note, right? So 1 and a 2, so it still lands on 2 and 4 accented. 1 and a 2E, a 3. Okay, so that's where I see that on beat 2, the snare is a 16th note followed by an 8th note on the hi-hat. So rather than hitting 2 16th notes, I'm just playing the 8th note and then a 16th on a 2. 1 and a 2E, a 3. Okay, so there's where that 8th note is in between 2 16th notes. So 1 and a 2E, a 3E, and a 4E, and all right, so good example of placing an 8th note strategically to give a different feel. So I'm going to take it real slow. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Okay, so great, right? Let me see about the dynamics, make sure, sort of do a self-check. Ready, and. Try that again. And again. Okay, and a little bit more medium tempo. All linear drumming, and you have all these exercises that you can walk through, work through, have fun with. So hopefully that helps to give you more an idea how linear drumming can really help you to shape your sound when you're playing the drum kit. So have fun.